Hi guys, I'm Dr. Jenny White, a dentist in Sarasota, Florida, and her fearless patient Susan with our podcast, Open Wide, Unfiltered Opinions between a dentist and her patient. Over the past 25 years or so, I've been sitting in a little room talking to myself all day, and I've gained a lot of wisdom through that process, which I want to share with you. We hope our podcast casts optimism and fearlessness to you so you can rise to the top, stay at the top, and dream bigger than you've ever imagined. So on today's podcast, the soup du jour is good old family members who do not speak to us. Okay, Susan, let's dive way deep into the murky emotional pool today.
Woo! Yikes.
Did you know, according to a 2025 YouGov poll, and I have no idea what YouGov is, but according to that poll of American adults, about 38% say they are currently estranged from at least one close family member. Around 70% of parents report they struggle to communicate meaningfully with their children, with many feeling shut out of a child's life. And around 40% of parents say a typical conversation with their kids lasts less than 10 minutes. We need to shine a light on this because obviously we're not alone.
Right. I have a personal story around this. So I recently had dinner with a couple that I hadn't seen in a very, very long time. But when I knew them back when, they were the golden couple. They were the type of couple everybody aspired to be. They loved each other. They had a great marriage. They had a great family. They were mentors to others. They were pillars of the community. You know, that couple that everybody's
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, everybody. And so I hadn't seen them in a long time. And so I had dinner with them recently, and we were catching up, and they mentioned that they have a child who hasn't spoken to them in 10 years. And I was floored because this was, the one couple you would think has it all together because that's the way it looked. And so that prompted me to tell a story of my own family where I have a brother who hasn't spoken to the family in essentially 25 years. And then the person I was with opened up with a story about somebody that they know who hasn't spoken to the family in like 20 years. And so there we were, 4 people who all have that same experience that you just described. So I'm surprised at the number, but based on my recent experience, I'm sort of not surprised at the number that there are a lot of estranged family members out there for various reasons. And by the way, we're not talking about family members that you have deliberately decided you're not going to continue a relationship with. That's in our Toxic People podcast, where you just have to say, no, I'm not taking this aggravation from you anymore, and I'm drawing the curtain, I'm drawing the line. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a family member who has decided overtly or covertly, either tell you or they didn't tell you, that they're dropping out of the family society and they don't come back. That's the person we're talking about, not toxic people, because I want to make sure that we have that difference.
Toxic people, abusive people, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about to an abusee saying, let go, of your abuser. No. Some lines have been crossed, and that's the end of that.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. We're not talking about that. So what do you think it takes for a family member to stop talking?
Well, I don't know. Like in my brother's case, like literally nobody can put their finger on what the hell happened, right? And my parents were especially angst-driven around this whole episode, and they couldn't understand, what was going on with him, and they felt like they were rejected as parents, and they never got the resolution that they wanted about what exactly happened. And it could range from, I don't know, mental illness to, in my case, I think it may have been my brother felt like he was born into the wrong family, like we're Robinsons, and she should have been a Rockefeller, and he was switched at birth because the Bassett's were so close to each other. I don't know. I'm making this up, and I get to make it up because he has not offered an explanation of what happened. So I get to make it up. So I honest to God, don't know. And from me, I actually don't care anymore. It's been too much time has gone by. I haven't been involved in his life. He hasn't been involved in mine. But I did care a lot when my parents were suffering through years of, what do you think happened? Why is he not talking to us? That kind of thing. And they never got the resolution. So this is a long-winded answer to your question. It could be a variety of things. In my case, I don't know.
And so even now, there's not a piece of you that misses your brother?
No.
You wouldn't say?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
And because, frankly, he hasn't missed me. You know what I mean? Like, there's been no reaching out to say, hey, look, can we bury this hatchet? I was wrong, or I was mad, or I was upset, or you did this, or you. So no, I don't. Too much time has gone by.
I think, and mental illness aside, because that's an entirely separate situation, I think for someone to stop talking in general, and I put a lot of thought into this, I think it takes pain of some sort. That's number one. Whether it's perceived pain, mental pain, physical pain, like somebody has to be hurt, really hurt. And then that person has to have a healthy dose of self-centeredness.
Yeah. Well, in my case, this brother and I are just 13 months apart. So I witnessed his whole life, and there was no, that I saw, abuse. And we had the loveliest parents ever. And so I don't think it came from anything like that.
But pain perceived in their eyes. So
Yeah.
maybe as the Robinsons were having Sunday brunch and serving mimosas to the parents and everyone was getting along and everything, he felt like he needed to be in the Peace Corps and in Cambodia helping some family. I mean, I don't know, like maybe mentally he was not a part, and it was a tear in his mind.
Yeah, that could very well be.
I'm guessing.
But I'm just saying, I'm taking off the table any sort of overt
pain
that, because it just wasn't there. I never witnessed it. So, but you're right. Internally, there was something going. Of course, there was something going
has
on.
to tick them off. Something has to make them say, "I've had enough of this. I'm done with this. I'm sick of you. I'm something." And for me, I'm thinking that has to be pain. I also have a brother that we haven't spoken for 5 years, and it's fresh. It's fresher, and I do miss him every day. And I was thinking about what happened with him, and yes, pain was involved. But then you have to jump into, and I know if he ever listens to this, he'll hate hearing me say self-centeredness, but having lived the number of years that I've lived, I feel like you have to be pretty self-centered and almost borderline narcissistic to pull a move like this. Speaking of self-centeredness, Susan, I would like to pause this podcast to have one of your fabulous concoction cocktails.
That's a bit of a jump.
That'll help us.
That'll help us get through the rest
with
of it.
the pain
and
any self-centeredness we have.
Right. Okay. So the drink of the podcast today is called Buzz Balls. In other words, give me a buzz if you have the balls. I don't know if we can say that. Nate will take it out if we can't. Yeah, so it's called Buzz Balls. Give me a buzz. And so this is for the people who are estranged in their family. They might want to give them a buzz. Let them know what's going on.
Give us a ringy-dingy. Yeah, give us a buzz if you got the balls.
Whoops.
I think Susan just spit into the microphone.
I think I just ate the microphone. Oh, this is good. There's going to be more buzz balls in my future.
This is wonderful.
Swear to God.
This is good. What is this? This tastes like a little iced coffee.
Oh, my God. Well, it is. It's hazelnut latte with vodka.
Oh, that's a winner.
Isn't that great?
And it's called Buzz Balls,
Buzz
really.
Balls.
It comes in a little clear, round plastic container. Thank you for that, Susan.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, so I know I mentioned self-centeredness. Let's dive into self-centeredness. It's defined as a single-minded focus on oneself and one's own needs, desires, preferences, and problems. The self-centered person is concerned with their own interests, cannot empathize with others, prioritize their own concerns above others, and do not take or accept responsibility, and they place blame on others for mistakes. That's a lot. When you add pain to a self-centered person, and this is just Jenny White, the dentist, trying to break this down and figure it out, right? But I was thinking when you add pain to a self-centered person, they're going to withdraw and stop speaking to you. And I'm not sure if it's I'm going to show you by not talking, or I can hold my breath longer than you can type of thing. I'm not sure. But the gist of this whole conversation is this is such a waste of time. I wish everybody had an expiration date on them. Like we knew when our life was going to end, because not talking to someone over a frivolous item. I'm not talking about the abused or the mentally ill, etc. But a frivolous-ish item is such a time waster. We're going to live our lives. We could have had an amazing relationship or a relationship with that person and all the people that they know. All of our lives would be richer because life is about not being individualistic. It's about being together. And I just feel like life would be richer if people could get over things. And I know I'm making it more simple than it is, but it's just such a waste of time.
Yeah. Well, we think it is, but we don't really know from the perspective of
The other person.
the other person. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have 2 books that folks might want to read, the synopsis of which I have read from each of them, and they're helpful. One is called Rules of Engagement: Why Adult Children Cut Ties and How to Heal Conflict, by Joshua Coleman. So that's something that if anybody is listening who has an estrangement that they want to try and understand, that would be a good book for you. Another one is called Family Estrangement. It's a Matter of Perspective, by a woman by the name of Kyle Anglias, Anglis. And she has written this book about putting it all in perspective. And again, each of those books might be helpful for estranged family members who want to try to understand this better.
And I also think that the two people involved or the families involved, everyone's got to want to build the relationship back up. I mean, if you have one side that wants the relationship and the other side that doesn't want the relationship, don't waste your time. Like, it's not going to work.
Yeah, it's an interesting conundrum, because I have a question. If you find that you don't fix whatever the issue is with your brother, or I don't fix it with mine, which seems unlikely now, should you go to the funeral?
And they're dead. My answer?
Yeah.
Yes.
And
yes.
My answer? No. Because I think it's disrespectful to the dead to show up at the funeral of somebody that hasn't spoken to you for 25, obviously doesn't care about you.
Oh, I'm assuming we were invited. We were told about the funeral.
Assuming that you're invited.
I'm
yes, of course,
assuming
yeah.
that we're invited. If we're invited, I go. Because I've loved this person. I've cared about this person. I don't know what maybe there's an extenuating circumstance where someone else is keeping the person from me. I don't know, but I'm going to do what I need to do at the end of the day, my self-centeredness, to make me feel like I've shown respect. I love my brother. I will always be there for my brother. Yeah, I would go to the funeral.
Okay, well,
and I know you wouldn't.
Well, I'm 25 years in. You're 5 years in.
That's
so
interesting.
I mean, yeah. So let's see where you are in another 20 years.
And then tick tock, tick tock. So the other thing is, Susan, we're two people that have a podcast, that are communicators, that are into growth, that are into self-development, that are into bettering ourselves, that are into living life, joie de vivre. I think it's easy for us to say, talk it out, hash it out. What do you mean you're hiding, or you're not calling, or you're going to, it's easy for us. I think too, the personality, if someone is an extreme introvert, you're going to have difficulty doing anything we've talked about.
Yeah. Yeah. So am I hearing you say that I should do the one that's the reach out?
No. Okay. I'm not saying anybody reach out. I'm saying we're two gregarious, fun-loving, want to help, talkative females who, if there's an issue with a family member or a staff member or a friend or whomever, it's not hard for us to say, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
Let's make this better. I don't like the way this feels, or I want this to be different. Or so for us, we're kind of saying, what's the problem? Get over it. Time is limited. At least that's what I'm saying. I don't want to speak for you. I'm saying, let's get over it. Time is limited. We all have an expiration date. This is a waste of time. This is a time come on. But if someone is an extreme introvert, which we're not, it's going to be super hard for them.
Yeah, I'm not talking about extreme introverts either. You know what I mean? And the people who really wanted the explanation are now both dead. I don't actually care what the explanation is anymore. You didn't give it to the people who begged for it.
Mm-hmm.
And you wouldn't give it to the people who begged for it. So bye. I mean, I know that sounds harsh and cold, but I watched them. They were wreathing in pain like every Christmas, every Thanksgiving, and they wanted some closure and they wanted some explanation, and they never got it. And I thought, wow, that was the meanest thing I've ever seen anybody do.
Does any of that make you angry towards your brother?
I think I was for maybe years ago, but I'm also a big believer that everybody chooses the path that they want to be on, and that I want to honor that that's the path he wanted to be on, which he's clearly doing quite well, as it turns out. Yeah.
And that's admirable to sit back and to honor the path that your brother took.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I was always there, but as I say, I'm many.
Time helps that.
Decades into this.
Helps you get there.
Yeah.
I really respect what you're saying. I really do. I think it's going to help a lot of people to hear that, because we're always told you need to forgive, you need to move on, you need to fix it. No, you don't. You need to forgive. And I love that you said you need to honor the path that person is on.
Yeah, I would be disrespectful to him if I interceded in that. And that's the reason why I just don't think, if invited, I should, why would I don't understand why you would make an effort to go if he's not made an effort to. We're alive. You know what I mean? Why am I going when you're dead? Why didn't we do it when you were alive?
But I'm not a tit for tat person. And the reason that I would go if they were dead is because it benefits me.
Okay. Well, fair enough.
Benefits me.
Yeah.
It makes me feel good that I'm not afraid to show up. I'm going to be there. But that's just me.
Yeah.
But I respect your side too. I know we talked about life is not meant to be lived individually. It's more beautiful surrounded by those we love and who love us back, be it friends, family, whatnot. And as Mark Twain said, and I love Mark Twain. My dad loved Mark Twain. He said, tell me about a person's family, friends, and community, and I'll tell you what his opinions are. And another great quote is, the trouble is not in dying for a friend, but in finding a friend worth dying for.
Oh, that's lovely. That's really lovely.
Yeah. So any parting words on dysfunctional family relationships?
I don't have any parting words that I haven't already said. I just think you have to, if they reach out and they want to make an effort, then clearly make an effort, But if they don't, you need to honor that they don't. And it could be for a variety of reasons, starting from mental health and working all the way to you didn't give them the right present at Christmas one year. I'm making stuff up, but you know what I mean? Honor it and live your own life.
So no matter how many buzz balls we drink, it is what it is. I say let's all find a friend or family member worth dying for, as Mark Twain said. And let's toast to healing old family wounds, one little wound at a time. I think I would need a tourniquet and not a Band-Aid to heal the wound, but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
And Susan, I was wondering also, before we put a wrap on this, do you have a fantastic tip or trick?
I do.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah. So I recently found these tracking cards by Apple. They're in the shape of a credit card, so they're easily stuck into wallets or stuck into, I recently put it on my golf cart, so the golf cart doesn't get stolen. And look at that. And so I figured that was appropriate for Estranged family member podcast. Maybe we slip one in their pocket next time we see it. We keep track of them. But no, these are great. I use them all over the place, and they're thin. The ones I used to use before were those round, thick ones.
Yeah.
But these are super, super thin. They work the same way. So they're tracking cards by Apple.
That's amazing. And
Yeah.
how many come in a pack? One or
Well,
two?
just one. Yeah,
Okay.
just one. But yeah, I have them in
That's
everything.
super cool.
Yeah.
And you just hook it up to your Apple phone, kind of like those little air tags.
Same
except it's a credit card.
It works the same way as an AirTag, but it looks like a credit card. Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Keep track of people or keep track of wallets or whatever you want
Yeah.
to do.
All right. So I think this is a wrap on family dysfunction. I've learned a lot from buzzballs to tracking cards to our conversation. And I really appreciate sharing some personal information.
It's very personal. But, and I had a lot of shame around it for many years. But I'm getting over it because there's 38% of the American population who are feeling the same way. And I feel like I'm sharing now. Like, this is my story. And sad and unfortunate as it is, a lot of people are in that same boat.
38% of us.
Yeah.
So I'd like to virtual high five and say that's a wrap
That's
on
a wrap,
family
baby.
dysfunction. We want to thank you for listening. And if you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe to our channel and share with your family and friends. We're thrilled you're here, and we will see you next time.
Yay.
We thank you for listening and hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, please share this show with friends and family and subscribe to our YouTube channel. This way, you'll never miss weekly drops. Stay strong, dream big, and floss your teeth.